In the deep folds of southeastern Nigeria, surrounded by red hills and whispering forests, was a village known as Umudim, a land of ancient gods and long-kept secrets. It was here that a man named Okafor lived alone in an eerie compound at the edge of the village. Okafor was a man carved out of shadow, tall, with a crooked back, grey beard that kissed his navel, and eyes so hollow they seemed to suck in the light. Nobody knew much about his past. His parents had died mysteriously when he was a boy. He had no siblings. He spoke to no one, yet he never lacked food, wine, or money. Even the chief bowed his head slightly when passing him. Behind Okafor's mud house stood a wooden enclosure wrapped in thick black cloth. No one was allowed near it. In it lived a goat, a bile, a wide-eyed, pale brown creature with markings on her forehead that looked like tribal symbols. To the ordinary eye, Ebele was just a goat, but to the villagers of Umudim, she was not of this world. Children who peeked through the fence said her eyes changed color at night. One boy claimed he heard her laugh. Another said she talked in whispers, mimicking Okafor's voice. Adults dismissed the stories until they saw Okafor one night, lying in the shed with the goat, his hands stroking her back as he hummed a lullaby meant for human children. Some things cannot be explained, so people stopped asking. Instead, they watched from a distance. Years passed, and the village was stoned. One Harmattan morning, when Okafor returned from the next village with a wife, Chinyere, a bold, sharp-tongued woman of 23. She was beautiful, strong, and head full of questions. At first, life in the compound was quiet. Okafor kept to his rituals, boiling plantain, lighting candles, and placing raw eggs at the shed's entrance every dawn. Chinyere ignored his strangeness. She cooked, cleaned, and greeted elders with respect. But soon the silence became disturbing. Why was she not allowed near the goat shed? Why did her husband always return from the forest at midnight covered in ashes? Why did she hear moaning from the shed like that of a woman in labor? One night, curiosity dragged her from her bed. Candle in hand, she crept to the back. As she approached, she heard Okafor's voice chanting softly. She peeked through a crack. Her heart stopped. Okafor lay on the floor, naked beside the goat. His hands traced ancient symbols on the goat's skin. A fire burned in the center of the shed, casting shadows that danced like spirits. Ebele's eyes glowed bright red as her lips moved. She was speaking in a voice that sounded both human and hollow. Chinyere gasped and stumbled backward. A twig snapped under her foot. Okafor stopped chanting. He turned slowly and looked directly at her. For a moment, they stared at each other, husband and wife, now strangers bound by horror. The next morning, Chinyere demanded answers. What is that thing behind this house? Okafor didn't flinch. She is my bride of the underworld. Without her, the spirits will consume me. She holds my secrets, my sins. I have fed her with my flesh, my seed, my blood, and she has given me wealth. You will respect her. Chinyere, shaking with rage, screamed, "She's a cursed beast, and I am tired of feeding it like a queen while I sleep beside a monster." Okafor's face darkened. "Mind your tongue, woman." For days, tension poisoned the compound. Chinyere avoided the backyard, but the goat's cries haunted her dreams. Each night, she saw blood leaking from the walls and woke up with scratches on her body. Flies now hovered around the compound. Food soured in minutes. Snakes slithered near the kitchen. It was as though the house knew she had seen too much, until one afternoon, while Okafor had gone to the stream, Chinyere snapped. She grabbed a rusted machete, stormed to the shed, and kicked the door open. The goat looked up, calm. "You filthy thing," she muttered. "Your reign ends now." With a scream, she raised the blade and struck. Blood sprayed across her face, warm and thick like tar. But the goat did not die instantly. It let out a cry, a human cry that pierced the sky. Thunder cracked, the earth trembled. Chinyere, panting and terrified, dragged the body behind the banana trees and buried it. She scrubbed the blood from her skin, but something had already been unleashed. That night, Okafor returned and found the shed empty. He fell to the ground and screamed, a scream that echoed through the village like a funeral bell. "She was the vault," he wailed. "She carried my darkness." He ran into the bush, tearing his clothes, cursing the gods. The village priest, Dibia Udo, was summoned. He entered the compound and collapsed, vomiting black blood. "You've shattered the seal," he gasped. "The goat was a living container. Your husband did rituals forbidden by man. He poured his soul into that beast, and now it's loose." From that day, night never truly ended in Umudim. Clouds covered the sun. Babies stopped crying. They just stared. People began to see things in mirrors, eyes, claws, faces smiling upside down. Okafor went mad, walking around naked, eating from the dirt. Chinyere became pale and withdrawn. Her belly began to swell unnaturally fast. "I'm not pregnant," she cried. "There's something inside me." The midwife fled upon seeing her. On the 7th night, a storm fell upon Umudim. The wind spoke. Drums beat from nowhere. Chinyere screamed in agony, and what came out of her womb was not a child, but a creature, horned, bloody, with glowing eyes and the voice of the goat. It looked at her and whispered, "Now you will carry what he gave me." She died before dawn. Okafor disappeared into the forest, never to be seen again. To this day, the old compound is avoided. Grass never grows there. The banana trees behind the house bear fruit shaped like curled hands. And on moonless nights, a goat-shaped shadow roams the village, peeking into homes, looking for secrets to eat. The elders still warn. In every village, there's a man who makes a pact. But when the goat that eats sins dies, the sins are no longer hidden. They walk, they hunt, they possess.
If you find this story interesting, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.